So today we're going to be doing a review on my wife's car. It's a 2017 Jeep Renegade. I've noticed a lot of the reviews on these are all about their off-road capabilities, and nothing really says for on-road. Now, we don't do a lot of off-roading. Like, we live on dirt. We might occasionally hit a very basic two-track, but nothing that really counts as off-roading. So my review is going to focus more on what it can do on-road. This is only the front-wheel drive model as well. It's not the four-wheel. Every review I could find kind of shows it, climbing up a hill or driving through a foot of snow. Mine's not going to do that. Mine's going to show you what it does on-road. And little summary at the beginning, it's great. It does a very good job. So I guess let's go around and look at it and see what we think. Okay, it's just a brief little history, or not history, brief little summary of the car. We did buy it used. It's a 2017. This one has 60-something thousand miles on it. Do believe it looks good. It does show some wear around in these. Certainly doesn't hurt anything, but it's there. This one came with aftermarket rims on it. Not a fan of them, but they're on it and they do just fine. Something about wheels though is that because this thing is practically a Fiat, it does not have lug nuts, it has lug studs. So essentially you unbolt the tires instead of putting them on there. But there is a collar around there that holds the tire in place while you put the bolts in. So it still works out pretty good. It does have these really cool tail lights on it. I'm sure any of the other reviews that you might see will tell you how there's little Easter eggs everywhere, the Jeep logo. There's some in there. I'm not really going to go over all those because every single other video does. One thing I am going to point out is that the rear hatch has two buttons. This one opens it, and this one locks every door. That caused some frustration for us the first day we had it, because we kept hitting this and wondering why we couldn't get into the car. Yeah, that's why. This one opens it, this one locks every single door. And of course, this is our everyday vehicle. We've had it for a little while, so there's going to be a little bit of dirt and stuff in here. But ours has the automatic transmission and has the 2.4 liter four-cylinder engine. I forget the exact numbers, but this thing's rated at right around 180 horsepower or something like that. And it is suitable for the vehicle. It's not by any means a race car. If you're somebody that tends to really, I don't know, real heavy city traffic or something, you might find it to be a little bit underpowered. Personally, I don't. It does everything that I ask it to. For a newer car, everything is pretty easy to get to. There's lots of room around the engine here. If you remove that cover, there's even more. Air filters right there. The battery is actually still under the hood. So no complaints there. The hood latch, it actually has one on each side of there. So of course it has that and that. I'm not really sure that benefits anything, but I suppose it's noteworthy. One thing that my wife was super excited for is I'm pretty sure it's standard on all of these, but it has a remote start. So that will only run for 15 minutes and then it'll shut itself off, and it'll only do that twice. And you cannot program it to do anything else. That's what it does. Let's go ahead and get inside. First thing you'll see down here, so I'm not wearing my seatbelt and that the door is open. But other than that, on the screen, remote start is active, push start button. That is another thing, it's push button. So I have the key fob on me. So pushed it. Now we're actually running, not just in remote start mode. It'll idle a little high for a few. I'm looking at the screen on my camera and it looks blurry, so I'm hoping it looks better once I get it on the computer. But anyways, down here, hopefully you can see, right now it says average 28 miles per gallon. That's actually down quite a bit from normal. We were getting just over 30 miles per gallon when we first got it. But then it started getting colder, we started using the remote starter, and of course idling gets 0 miles per gallon, so the average is going down. Our driving is not 100% city, it's not 100% highway. I would say it's mostly, primarily it is like 55-mile-an-hour roads. A couple stop signs on our way to work. So I guess it is more highway. We did recently take a trip downstate, and during that it seemed like it even dropped a little bit from that. So it's, I have not seen the 20 miles per gallon or whatever that is rated for city, even while we were in the city. Usually it does get quite a bit better. So 28 to 30 miles per gallon is pretty much just what this car gets. We have the very basic radio in here. It doesn't have like Bluetooth or a map or anything like that, but it works.
Nice. It's don't get any favoritism at all.
Yeah. But that's basically it. It's just a radio. It does have an aux port down there. Everything about it's pretty comfortable. One thing of note is, like, right now my knees are kind of bunched up here, but if I slide the seat back and sit in it, I'm actually stretching. I can reach the brake pedal, gas pedal I can barely reach. I'm 6 feet tall, just for reference in that, so I have all of that adjustment for it. Down here, if you had the 4-wheel drive, that's where your switch would be, but of course this is only the front wheel. I did that on purpose. I don't really, like I said, I don't do any extreme off-roading stuff. If there's a lot of snow or something, then I have my truck that we can drive instead. But that being said, even in the snow, this still does okay. It gets a little bit darty if you're on like slushy stuff. It does sort of pull, but it has a real short wheelbase as well, so that's kind of to be expected. Once it starts to go, because of the short wheelbase, it will go. This is the very most base model one of these that you can get. It's the sport trim package. So of course, yeah, I'm 2-wheel drive. I think you can get the sport and 4-wheel, but this one's not. One thing we were surprised by is it does not have automatic headlights. So you do actually have to turn your headlights on. Not a big deal, but if that's something you're concerned with, you might want to look into it for whatever trim package might. The important stuff, it does have cruise control. It's that was pretty much a necessary thing. Reason we were most of the reason we upgraded to a newer vehicle was that we wanted to be able to drive it on longer trips, and that's just terrible without cruise control. So I already showed you it has the 2.4 liter engine. It has a 9-speed automatic transmission. I think we can attribute some of the gas mileage to that. You have power windows. Okay, so here's the view in the back seat. Of course, my wife isn't as tall as I am, so her seat's a little farther forward. Once again, I'm 6 feet tall. I can pretty comfortably sit behind her. Got lots of space there. Now, on the other hand, if somebody has to sit behind me, I tend to be fairly well reclined. My knees are on the seat, but I'm not crushed. So, I mean, this easily could hold 4 6-foot tall people. Storage in the back is decent for a vehicle this size. This hatch here does come up. Obviously I could just remove it entirely. It also will just fold right up and out of the way. I have a couple of things in here. And with that folded up and out of the way, there's this here. It's kind of like the real thin fabric-y thing. Open it up and you notice there's not a spare tire. Basically it comes with an inflator. And then that there is needed if you have to pour fuel in from a can or something. But that goes there. Now this piece here, you saw that I could fold it up out of the way. I can also set it there. It's basically flush. It also has a lower position to give you a little bit more space. So that's pretty cool there. And then the seats that are in here do fold down. but they do not fold entirely flat. It's close to flat, but not quite. So you can see it does give you a little bit more space up there. I don't know, probably 6 or so feet. And it does have real easy tethers there if you need like a car seat or something. It also has these ones back here for anything cargo related. There is a 12-volt outlet back here. I'm not sure exactly what you would use it for, but I don't know, something. And yeah, I think we're going to take it for a drive now. So as you can kind of see, our road today is, we've had snow and then it's been raining for like a week. So we kind of have a fairly smooth layer of ice and then it's wet on top of that. Occasionally the gravel sticks through it, but for the most part we're on pretty slick stuff. There's actually standing water over there a little bit. So we're going to try to avoid that because, like I said, we don't do off-road. We stick to the dry, flat stuff as much as possible. But it handles it pretty well. We're doing right around 25 right now, and it's not really tugging or anything like that. One thing worthy of noting is there's good ABS and bad ABS in a lot of vehicles I've driven. And what I mean by that is if you're on really slippery roads and you hit the pedal hard to try to stop, if you have good ABS, it won't let the tires lock, but it will let you stop, and it does its thing there, it doesn't slide. And if you have bad ABS, it just makes grinding noises and you feel it and it shoves the pedal back up at you. This car has good ABS. And I know there's going to be some people that just say, well, your ABS is broken, but I've worked at several different dealerships and driven brand new vehicles that all did that. So I can't necessarily say that it's not broken, but I can say that lots of new vehicles do it. So it's not really, that's pretty much the way that they are. Some are good, some are bad. The Jeep Renegade has good ones. So we're driving on this stuff here. What are we doing? About 30 miles an hour on the slippery stuff, and yeah, it handles it just fine. So we'll come back when there's pavement. We're turning onto pavement right now. I'm going to kind of just try to film the gauges without getting in the way of the driver here. As you can see, we're accelerating at a mediocre rate. We're not really over revving that 4-cylinder engine at all. Up to basically 55. As you see, let's see here, I don't know, about 1600 RPM or so at about 55. That's that nice 9-speed transmission working for us. Of course, we're just on decently flat pavement. So yeah, you can see it drives pretty smooth. Once again, 6 foot tall me, I'm stretched way out here. I don't even actually, I have to stretch to hit the floor all the way back. Over here, I can actually get to where I cannot reach that. So it does have the handle for getting in and out. That's real nice. As these two, this was a funny thing when I bought it, because, ooh, nice, nice new vehicle, little comforts, and yeah, the handle, don't want that to just clack up there real fast, make clicky noises or something. The visors are another plus. It's like, yeah, it has the mirror if you need it, that's cool. But what I like is the visor comes over here, and the visor itself can slide, and it has that too. So it's almost covering this entire window. I'm gonna kind of move it. Yeah. So that's real nice. I always, I like it. The heating system is very basic, but it functions like it's supposed to. We have cold, we have hot. You don't really need any more functions than this. A lot of newer vehicles like to say, well, I want 76 in here, make it so. And you don't need it. This doesn't have it, but I don't need it. Not going to call that a bad thing at all. Once again, not sure how well it shows up, but there's the screen we're on right now shows the current miles per gallon, and I would say that's looking right around 38 miles per gallon to 40 miles per gallon, just cruising down the road at 60 miles an hour. And that's really nothing to complain about. And of course, another thing that I haven't really seen in the reviews, but it's probably one of the most important things. So a lot of people say, about any given vehicle, it's good, it's bad, it's this or that. But customer satisfaction. We spend a lot of money buying the new vehicle, so what does the customer think of it? So basically, this is my wife's car, so what do you think of it?
I love it.
She loves it. And that is really the most important thing about it. Is there anything that you don't love about it?
I don't have enough room for my ducks.
Yeah, that's we have those. We also have a box of ducks in the back. A lot of people think it might be Wranglers only. I don't know. It says Jeep on the front, and I think it's fun. So we definitely do participate in the duck game. I bought that thing on Amazon. It was super cheap. It's just a woven paracord. Basically has hair ties. That holds them real nicely. And one thing that I will say about this is this engine is kind of a noisy engine. It does have a muffler. This exhaust is in perfect condition. When you're driving it though, you can hear the exhaust underneath. In a lot of smaller vehicles, you wouldn't actually be able to do that. Let's see here. We're already doing pretty close to the speed limit, but just briefly, go ahead and hit like I don't know, like a passing gear or something. We'll see if the camera can hear it. It's hard to do when we're already doing fast enough.
Limit, yeah.
I could hear it. Hopefully the camera picked it up. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can definitely hear the exhaust. And it's not like, teenager cut the muffler off of his truck exhaust. It's a nice clean exhaust sound. It's just you're aware that it's there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a completely silent vehicle like that. So I guess just, final opinion of it. I do like it. I think it's a good vehicle. It was worth buying. I would buy another one. Limitations on it, I guess, is it doesn't have a very high towing capacity if you were somebody that wanted to do that. This one did not come with the towing package, so it's really only good for about 1,000 pounds if I put a hitch on it. Not a concern for me though, because I have a truck. But something to keep in mind if that is what you were doing. But it gets good gas mileage. It's comfortable. Even though it's a smaller vehicle, I'm 6 feet tall. It still fits me just fine. Yeah, it's a good one. And yeah, that's what the Grant Garage thinks of it. It's my wife's vehicle. She likes it. I like it. Not really too much I can say is bad for it. So I would definitely buy another one if it came down to it. Another thing to note is we bought it from Carvana. And I'll give them a short little review on here too, just because I think they've earned it. Basically, Carvana made it very easy. I did the financing through them, which depending on how much you have to finance, of course, you might not get a perfect interest rate, but a lot of places are like that. And it wasn't the worst interest rate ever. I'm not going to go into too many financial details of my own, but it was high but reasonable. And yeah, I think I paid about a $400 charge to have them deliver it to my door. And that makes it seemed like money well spent because they had to bring it from about 5 hours away. But they bring it on that Carvana record just like you actually are used to seeing in like the commercials or whatever like that. So they brought it there. Paperwork was all real easy. They made that real nice and easy. The registration and stuff they take care of just like any dealership would. But I was very happy with them, so I thought they also needed a special note that I would also recommend Carvana if you were looking for a vehicle. That being said, the Jeep's good. Carvana was also good. Thanks for watching the Grant Garage. Check out my other videos. If you like this, let me know with a like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I do follow comments. If there's anything you want to know about that, go ahead and ask in the comments. I keep an eye on them. I'll answer them if necessary. And hopefully we'll see you next time.